going on, y'all? All right. Let's get it. MWP Tribe. Welcome to the Midweek Push. Let's get all things situated here. Welcome to the Midweek Push. It's the place where everyday living meets spiritual insight. I'm so glad to see all of you on today, coming in the room on Facebook, on YouTube, and we got Instagram set up on the side. And so I want you to click and tag, share with somebody, let them know that the Midweek Push is on. Y'all, hold on one second. Let me grab my iPad. All right. Let's get it. Thank you, Carly. Welcome to the Midweek Push. You know what it is. Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, we are here to push, to empower, to inspire, to motivate, to level up, to boss up, to understand our purpose and our destiny on a greater level. So I'm so glad to see all of you in. Start putting in the comments where you're watching from today. Start putting in the comments. We got a great group on Facebook and on YouTube. So I see you coming in, Darius. So glad to see you. Yvonne, glad to see you. Dr. Eric Williams, Prinyan, Rhonda Parrott. So glad to see you. Kathleen Kim Moore. So glad to see you. You guys come on in. Cara Hathaway, Makisha, glad to see you. Come on, tag and share. Tag with at least 5 people. Let them know that the Midweek Push is on. We've got Instagram riding on the side with us as well. And today we're going to, y'all forgive me if I am squinting. I got this ring light in front of me, so it's a little hard to see. Joel, so glad to see you. Rhode Island is in the house. White Plains, Maryland is in the house. Shania is in the house today. Rochester, New York is on. Come on, put in. Shout out your town. Shout out your city. Shout out your state as we get ready to propel ourselves into greater destiny and greater promise. Philly is in the house. Damon Stanley, what's going on, is in the house. Listen, today we're talking about ways to see exponential growth in our lives, ways to see exponential growth in your life. And I'm going to share just a little bit about that. DC is in the house as well. So glad to see you all on. You know what? I am so upset because I wanted to add, I'm going to try to see if I can do it before we get off of here. I wanted to add in the Dream Camp commercial. If you haven't seen it, please go on to my page and watch the Dream Camp commercial. How many of you are excited about Dream Camp? Dream Camp is June 25th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You do not want to miss it. So Instagram, I'm going to come back on Instagram in just a second because I want to be able to push. I want to be able to show the commercial. Instagram, y'all hold on. I'm going to come right back in just a minute. I want to be able to show you guys the commercial for Dream Camp because we are extremely excited about Dream Camp. Excuse me. It is our one-day empowerment summit, and I want y'all to be able to see this commercial. While I'm doing that, this is your opportunity to click, to tag, to share, to let somebody know we are in the Mid Push. If you know somebody who you want to see show up as the best self, if you know somebody who you want to see level up, if you yourself just need a few moments of inspiration to make sure you're on the right track, to realign you, to push you further into what you've been called to do, let me just tell you this, you are in the right place. You are in the right place. And this is what we do here every single Wednesday. Let me get this video up for you all because I want you to be able to see it. I am so excited about the caliber of individuals who are a part of our Dream Camp, Let me pull Instagram back in because I don't want any hate mail that I stopped the message on. So let's get them back up and we're going to get started. What are you guys doing right now? Are you on your lunch break? Are you still working? Are you off today? Some people are on spring break. What are you doing? Okay. All right. Boom. We got Instagram back. Thank you, Carly. Carly, you on it. All right. Prophet Chestnut, so glad to see you, sir. All right, so listen, today we're talking about ways to see exponential growth. But before we do that, I want to play for you the Dream Camp commercial. Dream Camp is our one-day empowerment summit. We've got all types of industries. It's going to impact you mind, body, soul, and spirit. We start the morning with a morning awakening with a phenomenal artist, Jay Todd, and one of my former pastors, Dr. Hayward R. Hamilton. We go into breakout sessions. There are all different industries, ways to create multiple streams of income, your image, your brand. We have a segment called People Who Dream, who is about, hey, Chris, about individuals who followed their dream and now are fully functioning in it. So if you need inspiration, if you need to understand your purpose, if you're ready to network, to boss up, you need to be at Dream Camp. I'm going to play the commercial and then we're going to come right back.
Join Coach Cam for Dream Camp Empowerment Summit 2022, June 25th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with keynote speakers and panelists, including Coach Nia Small, Keatington Reed, Carla Clarkson, Creed Williams, Dr. Haywood Hamilton, Tierra Saden, Dr. Kelowna Roberts, Nate Jackson, Jermaine Pratt, Deborah Ginyard, and performances including Jay Ty and DJ K Dot, plus breakout sessions, vendors, and more. If you are ready to level up, make boss moves, and fully operate in your purpose, you need to be at Dream Camp. Registration is open now. Go to CameronWashington.com. It's Dream Camp 2022, Saturday, June 25th. Limited seating, so register today.
All right, so listen, you need to be at Dream Camp. You need to be at Dream Camp. Register today. Go to CameronWashington.com. Listen, we are already halfway to our capacity, so you don't want to miss out. You don't want to delay. It's going to be a vibe. It's going to be a mood. It is not just going to be sitting in classes all day and bored. It is interactive. So I want you to register today. Register today for Dream Camp. You need to be there. And the caliber of Dream Camp is not only in the individuals who are our keynote speakers and panelists, but the caliber of people who are attending Dream Camp are experts, advisors, influencers in their own right. So you're going to leave with a wealth of connections, new partnerships, the resources you need to take you to the next level. So you need to be at Dream Camp. Again, we're already halfway to our capacity. Go and register. Registration is $99. All right. And it's worth every penny, I can guarantee you. All right. So let's get into it. Today, we're talking about ways to see exponential growth in your life. Just by a show of hands, for those of you who are on, almost 30 of you are on right now. Let's click tag and share somebody. How many of you are in the place where you want to see another level of growth in your life? You're at the place now where you want to see another level of growth. Either you feel one of two things: you've maximized where you are, or you're not quite where you want to be. One of those two places. If that's you, just put me in the comments, put your hand up. You're at the place where you are ready for what's next. You are ready to get uncomfortable again. You are ready to learn new aspects and new areas of yourself. You are ready to thrive and drive in your purpose and your passion. All right, I see Lydia, I see Makisha with a hand up. Okay, so this is what I'm going to talk about today. And I believe it's essential because one of the principles of life is when you stop learning and growing, life comes to an end. When you stop learning and growing, life comes to an end. Now, not only does that mean the potential of a physical death, but there are a lot of people who are existing but not living. There are a lot of people who are existing but not living. They are on this earth. They are running through the mechanics of the day, but they are not truly living. And that is because somewhere their drive and their desire to grow and to excel has weakened, has diminished, whether it is through trauma, whether it's through exhaustion, whether it is through whatever it is. But I believe that there is a quorum of us who are ready to excel to another level, and you can never get to the place where you are tired of learning. You can never get to the place where you are tired of growing. Now, you all hear me say something, and we're going to do our declaration. You all hear me say something quite often in Midweek Push, and that is people like the idea of change, but they don't like the process of change. It is the same thing. It is almost synonymous with growth, that people like the idea of growth, but they don't like what comes with growth, because those of you who will testify back to me in the comments will agree that sometimes growth hurts, right? And sometimes growth is uncomfortable. I used to get, when I was younger, I used to get like pains in my muscles and my legs, and my mom would always say, those are growing pains. Those are a sign that you are growing. And so the revelation in that applies to where we are today. I'm giving y'all my Ambi Vice collar today. I was trying not to do that. So the same applies to where we are today in life, is that a lot of times the pains that we see in our life are signs of growth, and it's important to be a person of great discernment and great wisdom to be able to identify when what you are experiencing is a repercussion or when it is a sign of growth, because sometimes that pain can seem the same. Wow. Sometimes that pain can seem the same, and if you misdiagnose your pain, you will miss your opportunity for growth. Hear what I'm saying to you all. If you misdiagnose your pain, you will miss your opportunity for growth, because it is very easy to say what I'm experiencing is quote unquote what we say karma. What I'm experiencing is because of what I did in my childhood. But one thing we know about God is that once we are repented, once we ask for forgiveness, God is not a God who allows the residual effects of that to follow us into new seasons. That's why the Bible says that there is therefore now no condemnation, right? Which means that when we walk after the Spirit and not after the flesh, we are no longer condemned to the sins of the past. So if you made a mistake in your 20s, or you made a mistake in your 30s, or you made a mistake as a child, if you have been repented, if you have come to God and you are following in the place of righteousness and clarity, what is showing up in your life is not the residuals of that. So which means that if it is not the residuals of it, it must be what David talked about in the book of Psalms when he said, it was good for me that I was afflicted. It was good for me that I went through this because it taught me. Now, one thing we know is that growth is directly connected to learning. Growth is directly connected to learning. Some of our greatest lessons came through some of our hardest trials. Some of our greatest lessons came through some of our hardest trials. It stretched us, it hurt us, it made us cry, it made us want to give up. But when the dust settled and when the dust cleared, one thing we realized is that we were better for it. We were better because the relationship went sour. We were better because we were betrayed by family. We were better because of whatever that situation was. And when we really take a strong look at our life, we begin to realize that our growth happened in some of our most uncomfortable seasons. Man, am I saying anything to anybody on here? Our growth happened in our most uncomfortable season. But if we don't get free from a victim mentality, we will miss our opportunity to grow, because we will spend more time talking about why me and why did this happen versus embracing the fact that even as the Bible says, the present suffering is not worthy to be compared to the glory that shall be revealed. Now, when that scripture came, I'm talking fast, but catch it quick. When that scripture came in the Bible, it was referring to the suffering of Christians for the sake of the cross, but it also is great revelation because it teaches us that our suffering produces growth. Hear that. Our suffering produces growth. And this is what separates the boys from the men, the women from the girls, is those who want to grow and those who are willing to suffer for growth. Oh man, hear that. Now, when I say suffer for growth, I'm not talking about that your life has to be miserable. But what I'm saying is that sometimes the suffering is being uncomfortable. It is getting to a place where you get outside of your comfort zone, where you get away from what you normally know, and you're willing to move into a place where God, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it, wherever you want to place me, if it means that it's going to bring me to another level and another season, then I am willing to endure it for the fact that I know I will be better after this. I need somebody in the comments right now just to prophesy to yourself and say, I will be better after this. I don't know what your this is right now, what your this is that is coming, but you need to just encourage your own self right now and just say, I will be better after this. I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be greater. I'm going to know more. I'm going to understand more. I'm going to experience it now so that I don't have to fall in the same trap, so that my children don't have to fall in it. So those that are connected to me, I will be better after this. And when you understand that, it transitions you from a victim to a victor. Flip the track, rewind it back. It transitions you from a victim to a victor. How many of you can agree with me that gone are the days where we spend time wallowing in what happened to us and shutting down completely and missing great moments and opportunities in life? No, we are moving to a place of mature and strong individuals, mature and strong believers, where from now on, when things happen in our life, the first thing we're going to say is, what has this come to teach me? Man, y'all got to hear what I'm saying to you. I'm trying to transition your mind. The first thing you're going to say is, what has this come to teach me? Because in every single trial, there is a lesson, and that lesson is directly connected to growth. I hope y'all hear that. Instagram, I can't see your comments, but I see you on. Okay. Every single lesson is connected to growth, but your growth is contingent upon how you see the trials of your life. Your growth is contingent. That is why people can go through the same circumstance. Have you ever seen someone who goes through from one relationship to the next and every single one is the same? That's because they have not learned. They've always been a victim in it. They've always succumbed to it. But when you know better, you do better. Come on here. When you know better, you do better. And so it's important that we transition our mindset to ask ourselves, what has this come to teach me? Not what has it come to do to me, hear the language, but what has it come to teach me? What has this come? What lessons can I extract from this? What opportunities for growth are housed in even some of my greatest pain, even in some of my greatest betrayals, even in some of my greatest hurts, even some of my greatest letdowns? What are some of the lessons I can learn? If you're writing notes, I want you to write that down. And from now on, that's going to be your mantra. That's going to be your insight. That's going to be your go-to, is before you get to the place of woe is me. Because isn't it very easy? It's very easy for that narrative to slip in, right? Something happens in your day. Maybe for some of you, something already happened in your week. And it's very easy to go to the place of, this is why I don't. This is why I don't get close to people. This is why I don't let my guard down. This is why I stay to myself. We start creating this narrative. And what that does is it stunts our growth. That's why we can have people who are 40, 50, 60, 70, but they have not grown through situations. So everything that happens, they're in the same mindset, they're in the same place, they're around the same people. But when you get to the place where you can say to yourself, what has this come to teach me, and then apply the lesson, you're going to realize that you're going to grow by leaps and bounds. Okay. Erica Lynn Cotton says, wow, this is on time. Carr says, you're teaching good. Anna says, when you know better, you do better. Absolutely. All right. All right. All right. So I want you all to hear this. So this is where we're in. If you're just joining the Midweek Push, over 30 of us are on right now, and we've got some individuals on Instagram as well. This is the place. This is our safe place. This is the place where everyday living meets spiritual insight. And this day, today, we're talking about ways to see exponential growth in your life. What does that mean, exponential? It means maximum growth. It means maximum growth in every areas of your life. I don't know about you all. I'll prophesy to myself. If you want to join me, say, coach me too in the comments. I'm at the place where I am looking for growth in every area. I want to be happy in my relationship and my marriage, and my finances be a wreck. I don't want my finances to be good and my body is sick. I don't want my body to be good and my church is in turmoil. No, I am decreeing and declaring that every single area of my life is going to see exponential growth, and it's going to start with me. Man, it's going to start with me. You need to write that. What did the song say? Big old red letters. I think it was Father Hayes and the Cosmopolitan Church. Big old red letters. You need to write it down. It starts with me. It starts with me. It starts with me. The growth that I want to see, the development I want to see starts in me. Because one thing I realize, I'm talking fast, catch it quick, please. One thing I realize is that I cannot change everything around me, but what I can change is me. What I can change is me. You all have heard me speak before. I have developed a system in my life that has completely freed me from stress with people. Completely freed me from stress with people. I no longer take on people as projects, and I no longer have expectations of individuals who I know don't have the capacity to reach where I am expecting them to be. And the place that I live from is the place of, I may not be able to change you, but what I can change, what I do have control of, is how I react and how I operate in this situation. Do you not know that for many of us, the stress that we have is that we're trying to change people who don't want to change? Hear that? We're trying to change people that we don't want to change. But the truth is, the release of that stress may be in us focusing on changing ourselves. Because when we begin to change ourselves, we will realize that the people we pick to be in our life may become totally different. All right, let's take a break and let's take a sip of water and get to what we want to talk about today. All right, so we're talking about ways to see exponential growth in our life, okay? And so I have a couple notes here. I'm going to read some. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to interact, and then I'm going to let you go. Very often, toxic thought patterns take a hold of us and stop us from realizing our full potential. And so that goes to what we just talked about. One of the essential ingredients is growth. In growth is an awareness and an analysis of the narrative that continually plays in your head. Did you not know that consciously and subconsciously there is always a narrative that is playing in your head? Every single thing that happens in your thought, in your life, there is an immediate thought that comes to you. Every single thing. If you drop a pen on the floor right now, an immediate thought comes to you. If you get a phone call that discourages you, an immediate thought comes to you, right? And so the first piece of growth is understanding and becoming one with your thoughts. Understanding, or asking yourself rather, when situations come in my life, what is my first thought? Do I go to a thought of discouragement? Do I go to a thought of anger? Does one thing that happens in my day change how I look at the whole day? This is where we first have to start, because we can change the aesthetics in our life, but if we don't change what I'm going to talk about again tonight, our mindset, then our growth will always be hindered. That's why you can have somebody in a 6-bedroom mansion but still have a poverty mindset, because your atmosphere is not the only thing that develops your growth. It is your mindset. It is how you see it, and it's the narrative that you play in your head. So what is your first thought when somebody comes to you and says you did something wrong, or you hurt their feelings, or they have an issue? What's the first thought? Do you close down? Do you shut down? Do you want to run away? That is the first thing that we have to deal with, is toxic thought patterns. Toxic thought patterns. And let's not be pretentious and overthink ourselves that, oh, well, I only do that sometimes, or all it takes is one thought. All it takes is one seed. And so we've got to look at and ask ourselves, do we have toxic thought patterns that are hindering our full potential? Could it be that how we think, could it be that our thought process is what is hindering our growth? You know, even as a pastor, preaching and teaching to individuals, I'm blessed to pastor a wonderful church, a wonderful movement. And what I realize is, from member to member, from person to person, the word that comes is activated differently in their lives, and it's activated differently dependent on their thought process. It's activated differently. So we can all hear the same message, we can all hear the same teaching, but we apply it differently based upon the narratives and the thought patterns in our life. And so that is what we have to look at. Do we approach life from a victim mentality, or do we approach life from a positive, victorious mentality? All right, let's keep on going. So one of the great things, though, is that we have the ability. Now, see if you can do me a favor. Can you plug that into the phone for me? Overseas in the background helping me, y'all. Plug the pink into the phone so it doesn't die. Yeah. Okay. All right. So here's the question: what is personal growth? Okay, 30 of us are on right now. You still have time to like, tag, and share. What is personal growth? Okay, personal growth. This term refers to various techniques for improving several things. Okay, write this down. So personal growth, it refers to these techniques. Now, we know that techniques, or the word technical, means that it requires us to do something. It requires action. You got it? All right, that's good. My God. My God. My God. My God. All right. No, other way. Turn it. Jesus, good help is hard to find. Okay, got it. Thank you. Let's go back to your notes, baby. Sorry. All right. Here we go, y'all. All right. So, personal growth refers to various techniques, okay? It refers to the following techniques, all right? Write these down. Your behavior, your actions, and your reactions. Your behavior, your actions, and your reactions, okay? Personal growth is all tied in to these techniques. These are the things that we're going to work on specifically, okay? Personal growth doesn't start with watching several YouTube videos. It doesn't start, okay? Now, those can be included, but it doesn't start there, because when we think of personal growth, the first thing we think of is, okay, I got to go to the gym, or I need to watch a YouTube video. Those are essential, but if you don't first start with your internal mechanisms, if you don't first start with what's already built inside of you and the seeds of thought and the seeds of behavior that have already been planted in you, you're never going to be able to fully maximize in your area of personal growth. You're never going to be able to fully maximize it. So you've got to get to the place where you are willing to look inside yourself and begin the internal work first, okay? The internal work first, okay? Yes, within yourself, Michelle Jones says. Cece says, Lord, free me. Go back to Cece real quick, Carly. She says, Lord, free me from a victim mentality. I love your transparency. I love your transparency, because a victim mentality will always be ended. We will look at growth as offense. Wow, now that was great. A victim mentality, we will look at growth as offense. And so when someone approaches us, when situations happen, we'll always be offended rather than embrace it as an opportunity to grow. And what does that do? It keeps us stuck. It keeps us stuck, okay? So personal growth refers to our behavior, and this is as well, our habits, our behaviors, our actions, and our reactions. Flip the track, rewind it back. Our habits, our behavior, our actions, and our reactions, okay? And so here's something that I strongly believe. Here is, there's no sound on Instagram. I don't know why it does that. Okay. All right. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why. Maybe because you plugged in the charger? Maybe. I don't know why. My voice isn't copywritten. So take it out real quick. Let me see something. Pull it out. I don't know why, but all right, Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Join me on Facebook. I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Facebook. We'll figure out that sound later. All right, you can exit out. We'll close it for now. All right, just search my name, Cameron Washington, on Facebook or YouTube. Okay. All right. So, okay, here we go. Car says I need all these notes because this job keeps interrupting me. All right, 30 of us are on. Okay, so let's go again. Okay, habits, behavior, actions, and reactions. Here's what I firmly and unequivocally and emphatically believe. I believe that every single month you should at least have one personal growth area that you are focused on. I believe that every single month you should have at least one specific identified personal growth area that you are working on. All right, so here are some examples. And these, of course, are not all inclusive. There's hundreds of them. But just to kind of give you an idea, because you may be saying, Coach Cam, what do you mean by a personal growth area, right? Grandma Ross, so glad to see you. All right, personal growth example. So it may be learning to control your anger. It could be learning to overcome procrastination. It could be learning to overcome laziness, learning to be more polite or considerate, becoming a more reasonable person, learning new things and developing new skills, changing your mindset and becoming more positive. And so I believe every single month you should focus on that. Now, yes, we're almost halfway through. Wow, can you believe that? We're almost halfway through the year, but it's not too late to start. So what I would suggest is in your journal, creating an area where you can list the months and you can put in at the top of that month what that personal goal is or that personal growth area. And then what's going to be essential is to track your progress in that area. So if your personal growth area is you want to be more patient, then what you want to do is you want to identify how you react to situations that happen that cause you to be impatient. And you want to identify two things. What was your initial reaction and what was your second reaction? Why? Because I believe that we have two mindsets. We have two mindsets, especially for those of us who are believers. We are both spiritual and we are both divine. What do we mean by that? That we have a natural thought process, a flesh thought process, but we also have a spiritual thought process, and those are not always synonymous. Now, for those of you that are baptized daily and sleep on Jesus' feet every night, then you will be the type of people who say, no, I'm only spiritual. But as for me and my house, there are some days where my thoughts are not always spiritual. Even as a pastor, there's some days where, yes, I feel like cussing. There's some days where, yes, I feel like going off. There's some days where I feel like saying yes with this, okay? I'm just going to be honest and transparent because that's all I can be. Please don't leave me out here if I can just get 2 or 3 people who can agree with me. Now, I'm not saying that I react in that way, but I am saying that the thought does come sometimes. Glory be to God, okay? But here is where our maturity as believers comes in is that when those thoughts engage, or when I feel myself going to that place, I am able to recalibrate and to not react in that way, but to recalibrate to a spiritual place. See, that is the difference. The difference is that we don't live in that place. Some of us, we get that thought and we immediately act on it. But when you are spirit filled, when you have the Holy Spirit residing in, there are two reactions. There is the reaction of what I want to do, but what I know I need to do. Okay? As Paul said, there's two laws working inside of me. He said there's two laws. Now, Paul, who said this, Paul, a man of God, he said there's two laws at work within me. But spiritual growth, what growth does, just in general, including spiritual growth, what growth does is it takes you to a place where you say, even though I could do this, even though I want to do this, I choose not to, because I'm in a place where I am developing and growing, and I want to do what is right according not only to my personal laws, but to the law of the Spirit. Can you all hear what I'm saying there? Can you hear the growth and the development in that? So there are two laws working in us, but we've got to decide through growth how we're going to react, right? Because my flesh says punch you in the face, but my spirit says let me go and pray. My flesh says I know how to get this money in 24 hours, but my spirit says you probably shouldn't do that, right? My flesh says I'm a victim and this happened to me and I'm ready to shut down, but my spirit says this has come to teach me something. All right. So yes, Damon. He said my foot almost slipped. Yes. So this is where growth comes in, is understanding what are the habits and behaviors in us, and then developing monthly personal goals to counteract those. Okay. To counteract those, to be able to say, I know I struggle in this area. I struggle in the area of my temper. I am easily provoked. I easily get angry. And what my normal is to immediately react. My normal is to immediately pop off. But I'm at the place now where one of my growths, I'm not talking about me specifically, my anger is tempered, but I'm just giving you an example. Where I am now is that I want to be to the place that I don't react in that way. All right. Because even the Bible says that all things expedient are not always lawful. Right. And so a lot of times we will react, right? We'll just jump. We're fiery, we're ready to go, but where we want to move, that was some hard snaps, wow. But but where we are in the spirit and where we are in our personal growth is we want to choose better. We want to make better decisions. We want to be even tempered, even not even just spiritual, but even just we get to a place at a certain age where just certain things and certain behavior should just change. It's not even being a necessarily deep and spiritual thing. It just gets to the place where you've got to mature to another level of growth, right? Even just naturally, we would look at, and some probably do it, but we would look at some people crazy if they were 30 years old and they fell out in the store and started kicking their feet on the ground and throwing a temper tantrum. We would be like, you're too old for that. That's what some of you all need to hear. You're too old for that. You're too old to still be in the streets trying to fight. You're too old to still be sub-posting on Facebook. You're too old to still be going off in relationships. I can recall, won't say any names. Love you, Steph. Love you, EP. But I can recall on several occasions hearing someone who I know who's in their 50s and 60s having relationship conversations on the phone, and just the dynamic of the conversation. I was like, they are way too old to still be arguing in that way and have those kind of conversations. But when you are not clearly conscious and continually aware of growth and development areas, you will succumb to things that you should have outgrown a long time ago. Some of us, by now we should have outgrown shutting down and wanting to just remove ourselves from everything when something happens. We're too old for that. Would you just help me? Because I feel somebody bucking up on me, but I got warriors in the comments. I just need about 5 people to put in all caps, you're too old for that. Somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs to hear that. That's on here right now. 33 of us. We're too old for some of these things. So how do we get free of them? How do we get away from them? The way we do that is being, what is the word I'm looking for? Not strategic, but being conscious. The other word I want to use, but being conscious. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I want to say it so bad. Being intentional. There it is. Being intentional about what areas we need to grow in. Isn't it amazing that we can identify areas in everyone else but can't identify them in ourselves? We are so good at pointing out others' flaws and others' indiscretions and others' proclivities, but we have a very hard time turning the mirror on ourselves. But when you get to a place where you want all that God has for you and you want to excel, you have no problem looking yourself in the mirror and saying, this is the area I need to grow from. This is the area that I need to grow from. All right, I see y'all talking strong in the comments. All right. So here's the next thing. All right. What time is it? Okay. Where's my phone, love? Okay. Thank you, man. Let me see. Okay. I'm kind of wild right on. Spiritual growth. Help me grow, Lord. Okay. All right. So successful personal growth requires, I'm going to give you 6 things. Okay. 6 things. I can't really go fully in depth, but I'm going to give you 6 things, all right? While we're doing that, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Midweek Push. It's a place where everyday living meets personal growth. I am your boy, Pastor Cam, Coach Cam, and I'm so glad to see all of you on. Listen, this is a free platform where we just give you knowledge to empower and to push you into your next level, get you through the rest of the week. But if you so choose to sow, if something I'm saying today is blessing you, you can sow today. You can sow a seed, $Cam A Washington. If something is imploring you, but this is not an area where we charge you specifically. This is an assignment that God has given us, but we sure enough appreciate your seeds to help us keep on doing this. All right. All right. So successful personal growth requires 6 things. Are you writing these down? I want to see in the comments how many of you have your notebook, or I don't have slides for you today. So how many of you have your notebook, or you're writing these down on your phone? Let me just see who you are. Okay, need to teach on this for another week. All right, we might have to stretch it out. Okay. I like Shereen made it personal. She said, I'm too old for that. Yes. All right, here we go. All right, successful personal growth requires these following things. Motivation. What does that mean? You've got to want to grow. You've got to be motivated. You've got to wake up every day with intentionality to grow. Every single day I wake up, I am anticipating growth. I am anticipating that by the time I finish the day, I will have learned something new. I will have done something new. I will have connected with something new. I will have been downloaded spiritually with something new. So this has to be a part of your every single day. Just like every day, you make plans to eat. You make plans to go to the gym. You make plans to go with your friends. You make plans to go to work. You've got to put intentionality in growth intentionality in your life. Growth intentionality in your life. Which means every day you wake up, you've got to be looking. What am I going to learn today? I'm motivated to grow. So if that means I'm going to be on Midweek Push on Wednesday, if that means I'm going to join the accountability group, if that means I'm going to read a book today, if that means I'm going to write down the areas of myself that I want to see improvement in, you've got to be motivated to grow. Nobody can force you to grow. Nobody can force you to grow. I want you to hear that. Nobody can force you to grow. You have got to be motivated to do it. You can be inspired to grow. You can even have a desire, because here's the thing. Desire and action are 2 very different things. Desire and action. I desire to be a multimillionaire, right? Multi-dollar millionaire. But that desire is not enough. I've got to put some action behind it to reach that goal. Same thing with you. Your desire to grow is not enough. And a lot of times we get stuck in desire because we think desire at least is enough, right? I desire to do this, so we feel good about it. It's just like goal setting, right? We can start out the day, write down a bunch of goals, and feel good because we wrote them down. But what good is writing them down if you never actually activate any of them? But our subconscious or our conscious mind will say, well, good job. At least you wrote them down, right? At least you wrote them down. So now we've got all these goals, but no action. It's the same thing with growth. You've got to be motivated to grow. You've got to not only say I have a desire, but you've got to be motivated to actually put something in the works and actually start doing the process. All right. So motivation, successful requires these things. Motivation. The next one is the desire to improve. Okay, so you've got to want it. Okay, it's synonymous with number 2. We said desire is not enough, but it has to be included. Right? It's not enough on its own, but it's got to be included, and you've got to want to improve. You got to be willing to look at yourself. One of the most dangerous things I ever heard somebody, and it made me literally want to run from that friendship, which I did, is I'm perfect. I am perfect. That's the most delusional state that I've heard in my life, because there are always ways to grow, because even if you are excelling in your area, there's still another way to maximize it. There is still another way to maximize it. Even if you are an expert in your field, there's always a new way to do it. There's always, and the way we know that is because if we serve a God who is saying, behold, I will do a new thing, that means that that new thing also offers opportunities for new growth, right? And so we can never get settled in just what we already know and where we are. We to be willing to excel and push to another level of growth, and that also requires desire and motivation. All right, let's take a post, and you all tell me if you're with me. Devonna says, I'm writing. Yes, yes, yes. Madeline says, intentionality to grow. All right, Michelle is taking her notes. Tamara is taking her notes. All right, Melissa Urquhart is taking her notes. Rhonda is taking her notes. Are y'all with me? Okay, we're with you. This is so good. All right, all right, all right, all right. So motivation, desire, and willingness to strive to make changes is number 3. The willingness to strive to make changes. Now, those changes, I'm just going to tell you, I've got to be very honest with you. Those changes are going to make you uncomfortable. Those changes are going to make you uncomfortable. If you are looking for your growth to be easy, I have to tell you, Dwayne, I'm so glad to see you on. Tanya, so glad to see you on. If you're looking for your growth to be easy, I want to tell you right now, I have a sad commentary for you, but it has to be the truth that I give you, is that it's not always going to be easy, because what it's going to require is you to change some mechanisms and some habits that you've become used to and accustomed to. Now, let me push that a little further, because a lot of the changes are going to occur in seeds that were planted, not even in the present time, but seeds that were planted in our youth. Seeds that were planted as we grew up, because for some of you, even I'm speaking this prophetically, but even naturally, for some of you, you may have grew up in a household, grew up with parents, grew up with individuals who raised you, who taught you the best that they could, but what they taught you may not have been sound, may not have been the truth, may have been just for that time. And what we don't realize is we carry those seeds into our adulthood. So I was talking to someone last week, and they were sharing a conversation they had about family, and the person they were talking to was kind of surprised at what they were saying, because to the person who was sharing it, what they were saying was normal to them. That just seemed like how family was supposed to be and what family was supposed to do. And it took for them to share it with someone else who was able to illuminate for them that that is not normal behavior. That is not normal functionality within a family. So what it required then was that for that person to analyze that and be willing to grow from what they had been accustomed to. My question for you is, are you willing to grow from what you've been accustomed to? Are you willing to grow from what's become your normal, from what's become commonplace for you? Do you have the willingness to make those changes, to say, this is how I've been for 30, 40, 50 years, but I'm at the place now where I'm willing to change. I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to develop. I'm willing to strive, even though that's what mama told me. Even though that's how that dysfunction became normal to me. I just thought that was how it's supposed to be. I survived in it. But now I'm at the place where I'm willing to grow to another level and to realize that maybe some of the systems in my life are not the best for my growth. Now, growth and seasons are also synonymous, because you can grow in a certain season, but when that season is up, you got to be willing to grow again. You've got to be willing to grow again. It's just like the trees and the plants that we see outside. It's spring now, and we're going to see them blossom, but it's going to become a season where those leaves are going to have to die, and it's going to have to grow again. I need somebody to just prophesy in the comments and just put grow again. Just help somebody, help our tribe, help our community, Midweek Push, and just put grow again. Be willing to let some of those things die off and be willing to grow again. Be willing to let some of those bad habits and those old ways, be willing to let them die off so you can grow again. All right. So motivation, the desire to improve, the willingness to strive to change, And then this goes along with what I was saying. So Keith, I'm so glad to see you on. Be willing to get out of your comfort zone and sometimes do things that are uncomfortable but are for your own good. Flip the track and rewind it back. Be willing to get out of your comfort zone and sometimes do things that are uncomfortable but are for your own good. Guess what? For the next month, you may not need to go to the happy hour with the same friends. For the next month, you may need to get out of that group chat. Yes, it's fun. Yes, it's entertaining, but you're in a place where you need to grow and you need to be level-minded. You need to be clear-minded. And so you may have to get to some uncomfortable places. You may have to get to some areas of your life that you don't know, that you haven't been familiar with, but will allow you to see life in a different perspective. Okay? So be willing to get out of your comfort zone. Be willing to get, well, this is just how I do it. Well, I do the same thing. Some of you, even your routine, you need to switch up your weekly routine. Some of you, it's what? Get up in the morning, get my coffee, go to work, go to the gym, cook, come home, go to sleep. Get up in the morning, get my coffee, go to work. You need to switch up and get uncomfortable. Do some things that you haven't done before. Here's one of your assignments. I want you this week, okay? It's midweek. You've got until the rest of the week. Do something different this week. Break up your routine. Break up your routine. If you normally on your lunch break go and sit in the car and eat your food, do something different. Talk to a coworker that you normally don't talk to. Hey, do you want to go sit out in the courtyard or the foyer and have lunch? You'd be surprised how just little things like that, LaTanya Scott, so glad to see you, how little things like that will help you in areas of growth and will connect you with individuals who may be growth agents for you. Okay? So be willing to get out of your comfort zone. Do something different. Have an open mind. Have an open mind. Have an open mind. Be open-minded. Some of us, we are so judgmental that we don't realize that our change is in an area that we've really been judging. Oh, that was great. Okay. Our change is in an area that we've been judging. Oh, well, they're not really my type. Oh, well, that's not really my scene. That's not really my environment. And the truth is your change is waiting there for you. Your change is waiting there for you. So keep an open mind. Be open-minded. Be open and willing to the areas of growth and the opportunities for growth. Because here is the thing. Opportunities for growth are available every single day. The question is, are you taking advantage of them? Hear what I'm saying to you. Opportunities for growth are available every single day. The question is, are you willing to take advantage of them? Okay? And so here's a couple things that you can do. And here's where we end. I hope you all are getting something out of this, okay? Here's some things that you can do. How many of you, just from what I said right now, are going to do something different, whether that's connect with some new people, whether that's get out of your normal comfort zone. You're going to do something different. I don't care if you go to the mall and just start meeting new people. Whatever it is, you're going to do something different. You're going to do something different. Have an open mind. Yes, Anna, have an open mind for opportunities of growth because they're all around you. Opportunities for growth are all around you. Opportunities for growth are all around you. All right. So here's a couple things to prepare you for exponential growth. I think we are going to do 2 weeks on this, or either next week I'm going to do ways to see extreme success in your life. Okay. Here's a couple things you can do. Meditation. Meditation is a great way to prepare yourself. For those of you that are quote unquote, I am a introvert who has mastered being an extrovert. But by nature, I'm an introvert. If I could stay in the house all day long, every single day, I would. Excuse you, overseer. How dare you? Especially in the winter. If I could hibernate like a bear, I would. I hate talking on the phone. I do not like talking on the phone. I just had one not snapping on Tuesday. All right, good, Daria. Yes, good. We're not coming to get you out of jail. So just get to Atlanta safely, please, daughter. I am an introvert who has mastered extrovert. I am not. Let's go out to eat. I am not the. What's everybody doing this weekend? I am the. Do we have to go? I am the. Yes, I'll go, but praying in the back of my head that you cancel. That's the kind of person that I am. I am the, why did I agree to this? Now I have to go. What excuse can I use? That is who I am. Yes, as a pastor, as a success coach, that is me. I love what I do, but when it's time to go, I'm ready to go. My church will tell you, I preach, I give my hugs, and I'll be like, all right, love y'all. See you later. But one of the things that I also realize is as I am looking even personally to grow in areas, I am really being intentional about making new connections, about spending more time engaging in the lives of people who truly matter to me. And so that's an area of personal growth for me. A lot of people misdiagnose me. Yes, yes, Mom Belton, Pastor Belton. Yes, Gary. That is me all day. That is me all day. Do you want to go? No. Right? It sounds good. And then the day before, I'm like, oh man, I actually really got to go. Okay. That is me. I love being in the house. I love uh, just relaxing. I am content in that space, but I'm working on maximizing that area of myself and making myself uncomfortable. A lot of times, and maybe some of you will agree, and we're going to get ready to close. A lot of times, I have been misdiagnosed by people. And what do I mean by that? 40 of us are on right now. Misdiagnosed, where there's a lot of people who think that I'm either cocky or arrogant, but they don't realize it's really shyness. Like I am extremely, I know you'll probably say, what in the world? I am. If I'm not, see, this is another teaching. A lot of times what people don't realize is what you see of us is the anointing. It's not truly us. It's the anointing. So preaching and singing and doing those things, it's the anointing that helps me to do those things. But when I am in atmospheres around people I don't know, I am not the, just walk up to you, hey, I'm Cameron, what's your name? Like that is not me. Like I know I have friends and I admire that about them, but I'm trying to get to that place. I'm working on that. I'm working on that place. And so that's an area of growth for me. But again, let me get back to what I was saying. Meditation is a great way to start that. I think meditation is just something that should be implemented in all of our lives. Just taking intentional moments to just be still, not to talk, not to move, but to just be still. Taking a few minutes just to have those deep breaths and quiet yourself. A lot of times, we start our day, the alarm goes off, and before we can even turn the alarm off, our feet are on the floor and we're out the bed. But maybe, as a part of your growth, including an additional 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If you know that you have to get up at 7 a.m., then you start getting up at 6:50 and you take those first 10 minutes just to meditate. If you have a full household, go in the bathroom, or if you got to go in the car and literally just take a moment to just take those deep breaths in and be still. Those of you who have been working with me in ministry know a lot of times, even in our services, when we would start worship, I would have everyone just take a moment. I would have the musicians stop. I would have everything stop, and we would all just kind of close our eyes and just breathe in and release, because sometimes our minds can be going so much, and that's where that anxiety and that stress comes in, because we haven't had a moment to be still. And I have to tell you that in your time of growth, one thing that is going is your notice is going to wrestle your anxiety, wrestle your stress, because it's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to put you in areas that you normally wouldn't address or you've become comfortable in. So that time of meditation is absolutely essential to just bring yourself back to one, bring yourself back to a center place where you can say, you know what, I've got this. I'm intentional about my thoughts. I'm intentional about how I'm moving. All right. Here's the next one, and this is so powerful about growth. This is so powerful. Only compete against yourself. Hear that. Only compete against yourself. Toxic competition with other people will only wear you out. Focus on your goal and how you are going to achieve it. Flip the track and rewind it back. I love what Anna says. I set my clock to 10 minutes ahead so I can get that be still. Absolutely. All right. Only compete with yourself. This growth is not a race. Okay. You are not competing with anyone else to see who grew the most. The only person you are competing with is yourself. What do I mean? I mean, even beginning to track this, right? Being able to track it by keeping a journal of your growth. So you can look back and say, wow, At the beginning of the year in January, I was short-tempered, I was impatient, I was introverted and didn't want to be around people. But wow, I've been able to look from month to month and track the fact that here I am in August, here I am in September. I've made some new connections. There were situations, I know where that situation would normally take me, but I'm not there anymore. So only compete against yourself. Don't base your growth based upon your sister or your cousin or your fellow church member or your coworker. Base it upon where you are in these certain areas of your life, because again, toxic competition with other people will only wear you out. That's good. You need to write that down personally. Toxic competition with other people will only wear me out. You will only exhaust yourself. You will only make yourself tired. All right. And then here's the last thing. Set small challenges. Okay. Set small challenges. Set small challenges. Set small challenges. All right. So whatever that challenge is going to be, you can have weekly, you can have monthly, and you can have quarterly challenges. All right. And build an incentive program for yourself. You can have weekly, you can have monthly, or you can have quarterly challenges. If you choose to, you can have daily challenges. All right. So this week, you know what my growth is? I'm going to be intentional about reading my word every morning at 10 a.m. Right now, normally I know, last year I wouldn't. Again, I'm just giving examples, not me personally, but last year I didn't read my word as much. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set small goals, right? And small goals are more obtainable because we can take them in increments, right? So pace yourself, small challenges. You know what? For the next 5 days, I'm going to read my word at 10 a.m. for 10 minutes. Set goals you can handle. A lot of times we think that our goals have to be exuberant, tenacious goals, but make them small goals. When I am mentoring, whether it's my members or mentees, a lot of them will, ask about prayer. How long should I pray for? And my thing is, do what you know you can handle until you strengthen it. Right now I am consistently back in the gym. There's some degrees of weight I can lift now that I couldn't lift in January. You're right. But if I would have went in January trying to lift just that, I would have been discouraged because I wouldn't have been able to do it. But because I've been intentional about small challenges and small goals, now I'm at the place where I can lift more. That is the same thing for you, is set goals that maybe are not necessarily overly ambitious, but that you can handle. And that's why it's also important to not compete against anybody else, because I have friends who can lift more than me, but I'm not competing with them. I'm competing with the January me. I'm competing with the February me. I'm competing with the March me. I'm competing now, soon I'll be competing with the April me. I'm only competing against myself, and I set small challenges. And once I reach that, then I know I can do more. So I use that as an example, even for some of you in your spiritual life, with prayer or with reading the word. If you know right now, you know what, I can pray a solid 5 minutes, then you know what, you pray that 5 minutes with everything you have for 5 days. You get through those 5 days at 5 minutes, you take another 5 days. All right, you know what, now I'm going to pray for 10 minutes. But when you start looking at how everyone else does it, and they can pray for an hour and they can pray, and I'm using prayer, but whatever it is in your life, then you set in discouragement. You allow for discouragement to come in. But you've got to do those two intentional things: compete only against yourself and set goals you know you can handle. Right now, if you're getting back into fitness, you can't handle an hour workout, you can't handle a half hour, all you know is you can do a steady 15 minutes of cardio, then you maximize that 15 minutes consistently, because it's more important to have consistent goals than ambitious goals. Wow, that was great, Coach Cam. It is more important to have consistent goals than ambitious goals. So I would rather you be consistent with 5 minutes than ambitious with an hour and only do it for 2 days. All right. So that's how you got to start thinking in your mind, is set small challenges where you only compete against yourself. You set the parameters by which you're going to be able to succeed those goals, and then journal them, write them down, so that you'll be able to look back and say, okay, you know what? Wow, for the last 5 days, I did 5. I don't care if it's 60 seconds. Whatever you know you can handle, be consistent. Consistency is more important in this season than ambition. Consistency is more important than ambition. So if you know all you can do is 60 seconds, then guess what? You do jumping jacks for 60 seconds. The next week, you do them for 90 seconds. And before you know it, you will have built up that stamina, because consistency is what builds stamina. Consistency is what builds stamina. The fact that I'm in the gym consistently is why I can do it. Not just because I had ambition, because I can have all the ambition I want. And if I'm not careful, I'll hurt myself by trying to be overly ambitious. If I'm not careful, I will injure myself by being overly ambitious or trying to compete with the next person. But I realize that if I want to do this in a healthy way, I've got to do it on a level that I can maintain and I can consistently do. All right. I hope this helped you all today. We're talking about ways to see exponential growth in our life. Yet, wow, Patrice says a paradigm shift just happened in my spirit. Thank you. Praise God. I hope this is helping you. You are only competing with yourself. You are only competing with yourself. I laugh at it, but I think two of them are on here. Individuals in my ministry who say, Pastor, I want to speak in tongues like you. I want to pray like you. First of all, I suffered for these tongues. No. But you've got to do it in the way that it's given to you. You've got to do it in the way. So I use that example to say, you've got to do it in the way that it's given to you. What is going to be your consistency level? What do you know you can handle? What do you know you can handle? And in handling that, you've got to take several things into consideration. Your schedule, what are your hours, what is your responsibilities at home, what are your responsibilities in ministry, but be more intentional about consistency than ambition. If you don't hear anything else in this teaching on growth, be more intentional about consistency than ambition, and write it down, journal it. And when you do that, you're going to be amazed when you go back. You're going to be amazed when you go back and be like, wow, even situations. Like I said, if yours is your temper or your impatience or your anger, jot down that situation. Okay, you know what? So you can look back and say, okay, in January, this same type of thing happened. This is how I reacted. Wow. In June, I went through another situation, but my reaction was different. And then be able to celebrate the fact that you saw some growth in that area. Okay. Listen, I hope this blessed you. Tonight, I will be with Rhema Christian Center teaching on Mind Shift. We are in week 3. And I'm just honored to be guest teaching with them. Shout out to Pastor Belton, who's also Overseer's mother, and Carrie, I feel, but I'm gonna have to get with you, Brandon, because you need to be doing like voiceovers. You need to be on 5.com. I don't know if that's I'm giving you a free class right here on Midweek, but you need to go on there and people will pay you to do voiceovers for them. You have an amazing kind of radio announcement voice. So if that's something you're interested in, it's so easy to do. I'll tell you how to do it. All right. If it blessed you, you can sow today if you so choose. $Cam A Washington. You can sow a seed. I'm going to close out by playing the Dream Camp commercial again. I'm telling you, y'all, listen. Yes, Gary. Yes. I'm gonna send you the information for that. I'm getting ready to do a masterclass on multiple streams of income. How many of you are going to attend that when I put it out? I'm going to do a masterclass on creating multiple streams of income with things that are already inside of you. It's not a pyramid scheme and all of that. No, I'm going to show you how to use your various skills to create multiple streams of income. Some of you don't even know that what's inside of you can be making you money. All right. So Dream Camp, I'm telling you, you need to be at Dream Camp. If you are innovative, creative, if you think you got some creativity in your big toe, that's enough for you to come to Dream Camp. If you are ready to pursue your destiny and your purpose, you need to be there. All right. I'm going to put that out. We're going to do it before Dream Camp. So I'm going to put out that it's going to be multiple streams of income. Overseer is doing a masterclass next Thursday. Coach Naya is doing a masterclass next Thursday on meal prep. If you're interested in meal prepping, reach out to her, admin@nayasmall.com, and you can attend that masterclass. All right. So listen, we're just giving you knowledge. We're just giving you things. I told Coach Naya last night, I said that our formula is 60%. What did I say? 60% knowledge or 60% value. Yes. No, 60%. My God. I'll remember. In essence, 60% of what we give you is impartation, right? Everything is not, oh, this is $9.99. This is $20.99, $29.99. It's value, but then there is also a portion of it that is product and things you can invest in and invest in yourself. All right. So this is one of those platforms that is just impartation for you. But your seed allows us to be in a space where we do this, where, I can't say, oh, I can't do midweek push because I got to go find some websites to create to keep the lights on. So we just talk real talk here, y'all. So your seed is truly appreciated. I got 2 testimonies this past week of how sowing into Monday Momentum and Midweek Push has blessed people. All right. Listen, if you're going to tune in tonight for week 3 of Mind Shift, I'll be posting it on my Facebook page and on the Hope City Facebook page as well. Dream Camp, go right now. If you have it, go right now. Listen, if you don't have it, $99. Reach out to 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Reach out to 5 people that you know and say, hey, I need $20. Now, let me tell you this. If you don't have 5 people in your life who have $20, you need a different circle. If you can't immediately think of 5 people in your life who can give you $20 with no problem, that is an issue. But if you know them and you can't pay for it yourself, get 5 people. Say, hey, I want to attend this to invest in myself. I need your assistance. Let me hold some. Let me hold $20. But you need to register for Dream Camp. Don't be surprised if in a few weeks I'm like, hey, we're sold out, because we've got a limited capacity. But you need to be there. All right. I love you all with the love of the Lord. We're going to play the commercial. I'll see you tonight for Mind Shift at 7:30 p.m. Be blessed in Jesus' name.
Join Coach Cam for Dream Camp Empowerment Summit 2022, June 25th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with keynote speakers and panelists, including Coach Nia Small, Keaton Reed, Carla Clarkson, Creed Williams, Dr. Haywood Hamilton, Tierra Satan, Dr. Kelowna Roberts, Nate Jackson, Jermaine Pratt, Deborah Ginyard, and performances including Jay Todd and DJ K Dot, plus breakout sessions, vendors, and more. If you are ready to level up, make boss moves, and fully operate in your purpose, you need to be at Dream Camp. Registration is open now. Go to CameronWashington.com. It's Dream Camp 2022, Saturday, June 25th. Limited seating, so register today.